Kathleen McGiveron, and in this episode we're going to talk about how to use acrylic paint. So let's grab something to make notes with and something to make notes on, and let's get inspired. The very first thing you're going to do is sketch out your design on your canvas, and then you're going to apply a wash over it. That means you're going to add a thin layer that is a neutral color, something like an ochre or a yellow, a beige, a brown, gray. You could do red, you could do blue. Those are not neutral though, but you could. You're going to add a wash over top of it. So I typically sketch in charcoal or pencil, but charcoal kind of sticks out farther, like it stands out more, especially when you paint on top. You can still see it easily. And then you're going to add a thin, watered down wash, or I thin it out with a medium. So it's very thin, a lot less pigment, and goes over your canvas to eliminate the white and to saturate the surface. And this is after you gesso. So I guess step one would be gesso your surface. And step two is to sketch, then put a wash on. Apply a thin wash and eliminate the white. So that way when you go to apply lighter colors, you can see them properly. Number two is to do your base layers or block out your colors, or you can maybe working in values first. So you work through all your values, or you're blocking out your colors and just getting your base layers on your canvas and starting to map out where you're putting everything. All right, my question to you this episode is, what questions do you have about acrylic painting? Let me know in the comment section below the video, and I will do my best to answer you. Or maybe I'll turn some of your questions into a larger, longer video so I can answer it more deeply. So let me know your questions about acrylic painting in the description of the video. Number three is to add layers on top and then begin thinning them with different mediums. So now once you have your base layer down, you're gonna start working on building up layer after layer and after layer to create depth, to create just richness of color and make it look like it's translucent or blending through. And then you can use two different mediums to thin. For me, my preferences are, just grabbing it off my art cart beside me, is I like to use airbrush medium, to be honest. It's very much like water, so instead of watering it down and then you're applying water to a canvas with very little pigment, so then once the water's gone and dries, what's actually holding it onto the canvas? Not your paint, there's none left. So I thin, instead of with water, I use airbrush medium, but you can also use, this one's pretty fluid as well. This one is fluid matte medium. These are, one's Liquitex, one's Golden, both are good brands. And then this one's a low gloss acrylic extender and primer. And you can use that to mix with your pigment to extend it and make it go farther and make it more fluid. Okay. Then you're going to add, number four, is you're going to add your highlights, your lowlights or shadows with glazing. So glazing really means that you're adding lots of different really thin layers on top, building up your layers with very, very, very thin layers to create a very translucent effect and depth, pushing some things back and bringing some things forward in your art. It makes it very rich and dynamic. It's what a lot of the old master painters do, is do a lot of glazing on their work, just working lots of layers of thin paint, essentially. And then again, I just but mix it down with a lot of medium and very little pigment, and then I just go over and over and over to change the tone or value of that area. And then, like for instance, if I want to do some shading around the eyes and make that darker, or cast a shadow on here, I might, instead of having that as the pigment or the color I mix, I might put a glazing of a darker tone or value on top, and then change it that way as well. It's just different options, or you might do both. Sorry, I have hiccups now. And then, so again, you do your final highlights and shadows with that, like the final darker and lighter tones. And then finally, you're going to do number five, which is your final details. So then after all that, you're going to add on your very final details at the very end. So all your little tiny highlights of white, or the gloss or shiny spots in your eyes, or the little sharp highlights or tiny little hair details, whatever it is, whatever fine details that you don't, or are so small that you don't want them to get messed up or disappear, you're gonna add them on at the very, very end. and to complete your work and before you let it dry. Alright, if you're looking for any recommendations for art supplies or recommended books for you as an artist or a professional in this industry, please make sure you check out all my recommendations below the video in the description of this video. They are Amazon affiliate links, so I do get a commission should you make a purchase, but they are a great place to start if you are looking for some new inspiration or just wondering what I use in my studio to make my art. Thank you so much for watching. Your next video to watch is what brushes to use for acrylic painting. You can watch that video by clicking the link above or in the description of this video. And I'll see you in the next episode. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel to really help me grow my channel. I would super appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.